So I was looking for William Barr's statement and instead found Trump's concession. So, a lot went down yesterday, and I'm feeling a little dead inside about it. The emotional whiplash was real. But also, GOP politicians are trying to pretend they have no culpability for what's happening, so let's drag their jumping ship denials. I don't think I really have to explain what happened yesterday, but just in case you live under a rock, we started the day with the beautiful news that the Democrats had flipped the Senate. We are sending the first black senator from Georgia and the first Jewish man in a set amount of time. I will put the numbers on the screen here. And then the Electoral College vote certification process started, and then all hell broke loose. But since this is a political comedy channel, we're not gonna do an in-depth analysis of what happened. I personally think it's kind of obvious. There are plenty of other people who spent all day talking about that on the news after the insurrection was politely dispersed and Congress got back to their jobs and the vote certification process went on. There was an interesting turnaround from some of our politicians who had been supporting the baseless voter fraud claims, who had been supporting all of the ridiculous lawsuits that Giuliani and crew brought, and then suddenly they realized that their actions have consequences and they really backpedaled on the Senate floor. I made myself a playlist of these speeches. I have not watched any of them. I watched like the first minute of McConnell's speech before the insurrection and then kind of rolled my eyes so far back they almost popped out of my eyeballs, so I didn't finish that. But I have a playlist of speeches, and what we're going to be doing, because this is how politics works now, I'm going to be playing a drinking game with them. I've never tried this before. I don't know what it tastes like. I don't know how drunk it's going to make me. I know nothing about booze because I haven't drank seriously since I was in college, and it's been several years. But I have a little drinking games for these denials. Feel free to play along with me. Please do not get alcohol poisoning. I'm going to do my best not to get alcohol poisoning. And what I'm going to do is I have a couple of different drink ifs options. So I'm going to be drinking if the person making the speech seems surprised that there was an insurrection movement. They just didn't believe when everyone literally said that's what they were going to do. They just really didn't think it was going to happen. I am also going to be drinking if they actually mention Trump by name, because a lot of them are just scared to do that. So I would be surprised if that happens a lot. Drink if they're not up for election in 2022, because that is usually when people are most bold. Thank you, Miss Susan Collins. And then I will be drinking if they were literally inciting the insurrection the same day as the speech that I'm going to be watching. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm also not going to be doing full shots for each thing. I'm really not trying to get alcohol poisoning. The first video we have is from soon-to-be Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. The headline is, "We will not be intimidated by thugs." So let's see what good old too little too late Mitch has to say.
I want to say to the American people,
yes,
we will not be kept out of this chamber by thugs, mobs, or threats. We will not bow to lawlessness or intimidation.
Well, I'm sorry. We need to. Okay.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine, and you're not really fine, but you just can't.
First thing is Mitch McConnell's not up for re-election in 2022, so let's take our first drink. But honestly, even if he was up for re-election in 2022, I don't think he'd care. Because we saw him laughing at the debates this time around, so why would he care? But we will not be intimidated by lawlessness. What did he say? Lawlessness or what?
The lawlessness or intimidation.
Or intimidation. So, okay. What do we call the past 4 years of Trump's presidency? Because I would consider it lawlessness and intimidation, and McConnell bowed to that up until Trump lost, and he was like, actually, now I can have a spine. Moving on. Let's continue. What else do you have to say, Mitch?
We are back at our posts.
You are.
We will discharge our duty under the Constitution and for our...
I just realized I should have headphones in for this. Can you tell that I've just kind of like given up on existence? I feel defeated. I feel beaten down. I feel like that if I had been there, I would definitely be dead. That's not a feeling, that's just a fact. Anyways, I got these headphones for Christmas. Thanks, Mom.
This afternoon, Congress began the process of honoring the will of the American people and counting the Electoral College votes. We've fulfilled this solemn duty every 4 years for more than 2 centuries. Whether our nation's been at war or at peace.
Can I just drink because it makes me want to drink? Like, I'm just going to take a drink because Mitch makes me, he drives me to drinking. I can't. It's just, oh my.
The clockwork of our democracy has carried on. The United States and the United States Congress have faced down much greater threats than the unhinged crowd we saw today.
Okay. While the United States has faced down intense threats, there was at one point in history a shooting in the congressional chamber. So while there has been a lot of danger, what really just grinds my gears is that you could argue, and I am going to argue, that the greatest threat our country has faced is happening right now. Because while we have been in wars, while we have had Great Recessions, Great Depressions, while we had an actual civil war, which was started because the southern states were mad that they lost the election, just, as a side note. While we've had all of that, we have never had a sitting president try to attempt a coup. We have never had a party implicit in the president's shenanigans to the degree that Mitch and boys have been. So I think it's really interesting. I don't think it's interesting. I think it's very topical, or I guess it's very in character for Mitch to pretend that he has not been culpable for a great deal of what has led up to this bullshit. I will give him points for the fact that he did speak against it before the mob broke in, so I don't get a drink out of that. But also, f*** Mitch McConnell.
They tried to disrupt our democracy. They failed. They failed to attempt to obstruct the Congress. This failed insurrection only underscores how crucial the task before us is.
He looks like he's about to drop dead.
Our nation was founded precisely
Does he
so
always
that
look
the free
like this?
choice of the American people is what shapes our self-government and determines the destiny of our nation.
I'm gonna add a drink if. I'm gonna drink if they try to pretend that they have no culpability for what's going on right now. So thank you, Mitch. I need more booze. It's actually really good. This is Peach the Core. When I went to the liquor store today, everything was on sale. I don't know if it was on sale yesterday or the day before, but just the knowledge that it was on sale today of all days. People were like rolling up in the parking lot as I was leaving. I went kind of early in the day. Let's continue, Mitch.
Expression of the popular will. Now, we assemble this afternoon to count our citizens' votes and to formalize their choice of the next president. Now we're going to finish exactly what we started. We'll complete the process the right way, by the book. We'll follow our precedents, our laws, and our Constitution to the letter. And
He said we'll follow our precedents to the letter. Do I have a hypocrite? I do have a drink if they're a hypocrite. Let's go. I'm taking small sips because I'm going to record another drinking video after this, so I need to not end up in the hospital for alcohol poisoning because they're kind of slammed with COVID. Mitch McConnell can't even follow the precedent he himself set. I don't know where, I know why he does this because he's a piece of shit. But I just, okay, Mitch, let's move on. I would like to go to somebody else's speech now.
The winner of the 2020 presidential election. Criminal behavior will never dominate the United States Congress. This institution is resilient. The American people deserve nothing less.
Where does this wrinkly looking turtleneck. Oh my god. Mitch, can you take a seat? Can we just talk for a second? You and me, McConnell. When did you start giving a flying about the American people and what they deserve? I'm asking for a friend. Approximately 80 million of them. I'm gonna give this speech an F. For you. I'm having a day, guys. I'm just really stressed about democracy. It's just really stressing me out. Okay, we're gonna move on. So the next person on my list is Senator Lindsey Crybaby Graham. God, I don't even want to click on this. I literally don't even want to click on this. Okay, we're gonna click on it. Okay, I can do this. I have liquor.
And to do it. To hold the country
hostage. I get to take my first drink because he's not up for re-election in 2022. Blessed that I get to have alcohol, not that he's not up for re-election in 2022. I'm gonna go ahead and give him the "they're a hypocrite" drink right this second.
Hostage to end Reconstruction. It worked. The commission was 8-7. It didn't work. Nobody accepted it.
I can see Kelly Loeffler in the background, and it's just making me mad. She makes me mad. I don't like Kelly. She's God. Okay.
You give me the electors, I'll kick the Union Army out. The rest is history. It led to Jim Crow. If you're looking for historical guidance, this is not the one to pick. If you're looking for a way to convince people...
Is Lindsey Graham trying to convince me that he thought Jim Crow was bad? Because I don't believe it. Lindsey Graham just looks like the type of guy who just loved Jim Crow so much. Okay, let's keep going.
There was no fraud. Having a commission chosen by Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, and John Roberts is not going to get you to where you want to go. That's why I'm not with you. But I will fight to my death for you. You're able to object. You're not doing anything wrong. Other people have objected. I just think it's a uniquely bad idea to delay this election. Trump and I, we've had a hell of a journey. I hate it being this way. Oh my God, I hate it. From my point of view, he's been a consequential...
Okay, I'm gonna take a drink because he said Trump. Not because I need one. And he also really is, he's going like, I just think it's a bad idea. I'm not with, like, Lindsey. Dude. What? What? I'm just, okay, here's my thing, do I have, like, stupid stamped across my forehead? How dumb does Lindsey Graham think his voters are? He thinks his voters are really dumb because literally, like, a week ago, possibly yesterday, at some point in the near recent times, he was way on board with this challenge. He really was. I don't remember if he was one of those senators who said he was going to object, but he really was up there on Fox News spreading the lies that have led us to this point. I think I already took a drink for him having culpability, which is a shame. I have four more minutes of the speech left. Oh, please kill me. I don't watch speeches that often because a lot of politicians talk really slow, and I just don't have the time for that. I don't have the energy to invest in them. I would rather just read the transcript because it takes a fifth, a sixth, a fraction of the time it takes them to get it out of their mouth, and also makes me less mad. We're doing it for the content.
But today, first thing you'll see, all I can say is count me out. Enough is enough. I've tried to be helpful. But when the Wisconsin Supreme Court ruled 4-3 that they didn't violate the Constitution of Wisconsin, I agree with the 3, but I accept the 4. If Al Gore can accept 5-4, he's not president. I can accept Wisconsin 4-3.
So, okay, so we need to pause. So essentially what I'm taking away from the speech is he is really trying to have his cake and eat it too. He's really trying to straddle both sides here. I don't know, like, obviously he's Trump's, like, biggest water boy. I don't know if he's missed the part where Trump doesn't believe in partial loyalty, because just the fact that he's not objecting, Trump is has probably had a hissy fit over. He just hasn't been able to tweet it because Jack Dorsey finally gives a flying F. And so essentially, Senator Graham's going, hey y'all, I think this objecting thing is bad. I don't think that Biden's legitimate. I think the courts are wrong. I think Trump should be president. I want him to be president, but I'm just not going to do this thing that wasn't going to work anyways because I'm saving face because I see the ships just going down. He's that jerk in Titanic. He's like, I have a child. Let's hear what else Lindsey has to say.
Pennsylvania. It went to the Second Circuit. So much for all the judges being in Trump's pocket. They said, no, you're wrong. I accept the Pennsylvania Second Circuit that Trump's lawsuit wasn't right. Georgia, they said the Secretary of State took the law in his own hands. He changed the election laws unlawfully. A federal judge said, no, I accept the federal judge even though I don't agree with it. Fraud. They say there's 66,000 people in Georgia.
I don't have a drink if he's still trying to validate the false claims because I just assumed everyone walking back wasn't. I'm talking over Lindsey and I don't care what he has to say. But yeah, so I don't have a category for drink if they're continuing to feed into the voter fraud claims. But I'm adding it right now.
Talk about interesting times. I associate myself with Rand Paul.
Do a pip. I'm not tipsy yet, but it's about to get real bad.
Something nobody else could do.
Oh, he called him a mob. Good job, Senator Lindsey.
If you're a conservative, this is the most offensive concept in the world that a single person could disenfranchise 155 million people. The President of the Senate shall, in the presence of the Senate and the House of Representatives, open all certificates and the votes shall then be counted. The person having the greatest number of votes for president shall be president. Where in there does it say?
Oh, congratulations! You can read, Lindsey. Good for him.
Back to the states. I believe there was fraud. To the conservatives who believe in the Constitution.
I should have a drink if this makes me want to die. Did he miss the part in the Constitution about impeachment?
To my good friend from Illinois, to make sure we have a
I would love to see Lindsey Graham's copy of the U.S. Constitution. I just feel like there are pages torn out.
Travel the world with Joe. I hoped he lost. I prayed he would lose. He won. He's the legitimate president of the United States. I cannot convince people, certain groups.
He really is. So he spent the first 4 minutes of the speech saying that while he's willing to listen to the judges and accept their decisions, he thinks they're wrong, which then means since these things that the judges decided on were whether or not voter fraud happened. So that means that he does believe voter fraud happened, but now he just said that Biden's the legitimate president.
By my words, but I will tell you by my actions that maybe I, above all others in this body, need to say this. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are lawfully elected and will become the president and the vice president of the United States on January the 20th.
No, don't applaud. Who is applauding? I want the names of everyone who applauded that because that was performance art. Okay, so here's where you see that despite me hating Lindsey Graham with not of many fibers of my being, says I don't want to give him that much of myself, even in hatred, but despite how much I dislike Lindsey Graham, I will give him this, is that he is good at the version of his job he thinks is his job. So what I mean by that is rather than being good at his job, which is serving the people, he's good at what he thinks his job is, which is holding on to power and passing his agenda. What he did here was he really did kind of try to shore himself up in the history books by saying, he said it very plainly, Joe and Kamala are legitimately elected. They're the next executive administration of our country. We have to push this through. Pence, you go do your literal job and push this through. But he also did not condemn or speak ill or even outwardly say that the Stop the Steal motion, movement, whatever, is founded on lies. He did not say that the people who broke into the Capitol were domestic terrorists or thugs, like McConnell said. So he managed to really straddle this wishy-washy line. So I will give him points for that. It was actually pretty well done. I'm wondering if he had this drafted before hell broke loose. So I have to give him a grade F. Moving on. This isn't a speech, but we have seen a slew of resignations. Really, everyone is just diving off of the sides of the Titanic. Now, this really is the Titanic, the Trump-tanic, if you will, because all these people were really clinging on to it up until yesterday. They were really just convinced that if they continued to cling on to the Trump ship, that it would not fail them, that they would get to keep power, that they would get to ride the MAGA train to a 2024 presidential nomination or something. They just really did not think that hitching their boat to Trump would bite them in the ass. They didn't think this boat would sink, and it's going down, 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 and they are hopping off of those tall rudders or they're gonna hit the water and die. That's what they're doing. So there's been a slew of resignations, a lot of them, I want to say most of them in the White House. This was the final straw for you. It took a literal attempt at a coup for you to go, you know what? Maybe this guy's a little off his rocker, but let's see what we have to say about this resignation. The reason I'm looking at this is because this woman, Elaine Chao, is married to Mitch McConnell.
Transportation Secretary. She's tweeted her statement. I just want to read the first little part of it. Yesterday, our country experienced a traumatic and entirely avoidable event as supporters of the president stormed the Capitol building following a rally he addressed. As I'm sure is the case with many of
Trump
you,
by
it
name,
has
but I'll give
deeply
it a drink.
troubled me in a way that I simply cannot set aside.
So that was an interesting statement. I don't even have a Parler account because I just don't want that energy in my life, but I do occasionally read articles about what's going on in Parler, and they said this. They said this was going to happen. I don't understand the tone of surprise here. To be honest, I don't pay attention to Elaine at all, so I don't know what her track record is like. She's married to Mitch McConnell, which doesn't make me like her. And also, she's resigning literally like 2 weeks before she was gonna not have a job anyways. 2 weeks to the day. It's like handing in your 2 weeks notice 2 weeks before the company closes. Or I guess quitting 2 weeks before the company closes. I'm going to give this statement a C, but you're married to Mitch, so. Moving on. Our good buddy, our good old pal, William Barr. Okay. Whew. I can do this.
He has given out a public statement here, and the Associated Press...
Oh, he had a statement? Great, I don't have to listen to them. William Barr is a hypocrite. He was down with Trump literally up until he quit. And now he's really trying to turn around. Really what William Barr is doing, he's like, oh history books are going to exist about this. I don't want to report on his statement. I want his actual statement. Can I just get this statement? Whoa. Oh my, what? Okay. The Associated Press is saying that Trump officially conceded. What is going on? What is going on? This video was released literally, it looks like 20 minutes ago. Okay, so this is not something I anticipated happening. Let's give it a watch.
I would like to begin by addressing the heinous attack
in 240p
on the United States Capitol.
Okay.
Like all Americans, I am outraged by the violence,
pretending he has no culpability.
lawlessness, and mayhem. I immediately deployed the National Guard and federal law enforcement to secure the building and expel...
That's a lie. So he's saying that he immediately deployed the National Guard. Reports have come out since yesterday. Came out last night. That was actually Pence who okayed the mobilization of the National Guard because Trump wasn't mad about it. Okay, continuing.
Intruders. America is and must always be a nation of law and order. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. To those who engage in the acts of violence and destruction, you do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay. We have just been through an intense election, and emotions are high.
Who was
But
holding
now
this man at
tempers must be
gunpoint to give this
cooled
speech?
and calm restored. We must get on with the business of America. My campaign
really doesn't want to be
vigorously
removed from
pursued every
office.
legal avenue to contest the election results. My only goal was to ensure the integrity of the vote. In so doing, I was fighting to defend American democracy. I continue to strongly believe that we must reform our election laws to verify the identity and eligibility of all voters and to ensure faith and confidence in all future elections. Now Congress has certified the results. A new administration will be inaugurated on January 20th.
Is this a deep
My
fake?
focus now turns to ensuring a smooth, orderly, and
Why did they
seamless
change
transition
camera
of
angles?
power.
That's weird.
This moment calls for healing and reconciliation. 2020 has been a challenging time for our people. A menacing pandemic has upended the lives of our citizens, isolated millions in their homes. It will require a renewed emphasis on the civic values of patriotism, faith, charity, community, and family. We must revitalize the sacred bonds of love and loyalty that bind us together as one national family. To the citizens of our country, serving as your president has been the honor of my lifetime. And to all of my wonderful supporters, I know you are disappointed, but I also want you to know that our incredible journey is only just beginning. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
There's a lot to unpack here. I am actually going to cut off the intended purpose of this video and just first I'm gonna finish this drink. First thing, whoever wrote the cues or the teleprompter, whoever wrote the speech, thank you for caring about democracy. Second of all, whoever was holding Trump at gunpoint to get him to say the speech, thank you for caring about our democracy. Third point, that really does sound like the beginning of a 2024 election campaign, and that is kind of really terrifying. But yeah, when he says it's only just beginning, I hope it's a lie. He lies a lot. I hope he's lying here, because I would very much like him to not continue to talk anything about politics, because he has greatly damaged our country and democracy and countless other countries while he's at it, and has been complicit in the death of over 350,000 Americans and incited an actual insurrection attempt literally yesterday. Does his statement have any sincerity? Absolutely not. It was written by somebody who actually cares about maybe saving democracy from a burning hellscape, or at least convinced him that this would be good for his legacy and that he would come out better if he did it this way, because there's no way he's actually going to be able to take over the country the way he wants to. The lip service parts of it have the potential to do some good, depending on what he says in the near future. If he just immediately undermines this, which he has the tendency to do, it's going to do jack shit. I do want to give a special mention to the people who did not walk back their claims after a mob broke into the Capitol, chief among them being good old Senator Ted Cruz, as well as Hawley or Hackley or whoever he is, and all of the House reps that still objected. You all get an F- because you didn't complete the assignment. You didn't try. Nobody who supported this should be seated, but that's too serious. So with that said, that's going to be the end of my video. Keep an eye out for my next video, which I'm going to be filming tonight, so it should be coming out pretty soon unless I get lazy and decide not to edit, in which case it will not be coming out pretty soon. But if you're wondering why I'm wearing the same outfit, it's because I'm filming it right after this. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you could give me a like, share it with people you know, particularly any poli-sci people. I am always looking for new poli-sci people to chat with, so hit me up. And if you want more of my hot mess about the hot mess, feel free to subscribe. But that's gonna be it. Thank you for watching. Bye.